Nityanandam. Let us now enter into exploring of Vedic tradition. Today, the next topic we have is Vanaprastha Ashrama. As you might have heard, in a man's life, in a human being's life, according to Vedic sages and seers, there are 4 stages through which a man passes, and gradually, by living his life through these 4 stages, he will be given a gradual entry into enlightened state. The Vedic seers and sages, with a great foresight, fashioned the 4 ashramas or stages of life just to help every human being raise himself to the state of enlightenment with no strain of having to go through severe austerities and penances. How is it possible? Let us now see what are the 4 ashramas or stages of life they had in their mind or they brought out to the society. The first one is brahmacharya, that of a student. The person in a student stage is just gathering and learning and doing penance in order to keep his body fit for his future life. So these are the basic duties of a brahmachari or a person who is in the state of brahmacharya. This may extend up to 25 years, first 25 years of a person's life. It need not be a distinction between a man or a woman. Both can go through that stage. Then, when they have gathered enough knowledge to help them to earn a livelihood, they are allowed to enter into the next stage of life, that of a householder, or in other words, getting married and raising a family. This is called in Vedic literature as Grihastha Ashrama. The first one is Brahmacharya Ashrama. This is Grihastha Ashrama. In this stage, a person gets married and raises children. He takes on the responsibility of catering to himself, his family, his parents, and the society around him. So he takes on a heavy responsibility of looking after the entire society. When the person has gone through his life, and this Grihastha Ashrama can extend from up to 25 to 50 years of age in a person's life. After 50, as we see in the world, they have raised a family. The children have grown up, and there is maturity on the part of the man and his spouse to enter into a greater understanding of life. And at this stage, he feels the necessity of gaining fulfillment, and for that he starts his seeking in a more decisive manner. And this is the time is ripe for him to enter inward and search for the truth. And for that, facilities have to be provided to him. And the ancient sages and seers decided on the period of Vanaprastha, or literal meaning of the word is forest dweller. In ancient times, in Vedic period, there were abundance of forests and there were no cities. So people were not used to the luxurious way of life. They lived simple lives only. Even at the stage of Brahmacharya and Grihastha, they led very simple lives. And at the 3rd stage, when they were ready to enter into the 3rd stage of their life, they left their home, including their children, the family, and entered into a monastic life of a monk. That is, they left their home and their place and went into the forest to live a life of seclusion, and this life helped them to go inward and search for the truth. The search may extend up to from 50 years to 75 years in a human being's life. By that time, the maturity and the detachment from world has set and embedded in him so deeply that he is ready, ripe for the final or the ultimate experience. So this was the beautiful way in which the Vedic seers had decided on the society's life. And moreover, they have given the ideals, 4 different ideals based on which every human being's life is fashioned. The ideals are named as Artha, Kama, Dharma and Moksha. Deliberately I am giving you in this order because if you look at the 4 ashramas, these 4 will apply to them respectively. The first one is Artha. Artha literal meaning is the idea of gaining security and comfort. And for that, what all you need to qualify yourself to earn that security, to earn that comfort. So when you equate it to the first stage of brahmacharya, this artha will apply very well. That is the period when the student is equipping himself so that he can gain a life of security and comfort. What all efforts he has to take in that period, he is given the freedom to do it. So that is why we go to a school, we go and learn in a college, we equip ourselves with different skills. That happens in that period. Then you enter into a householder. I told you grihastha. In that, they follow the ideal of kama. Kama means desire. Literal meaning is just desire. It need not, as modern days understanding goes, kama means lust. No, that is not the meaning. Kama Sutra is one of the treatises written to describe the state of kama, and that describes the life of a cultured man. What all desires he can have, what all aspirations he can have, how can he fulfill them and live a cultured life. That is what is the idea behind the book. So kama, fulfilling of desires and accomplishments, that is the stage, and you need time and energy to do that. And for that, the equipping in the brahmacharya or the first stage, where you have equipped yourself with artha or the accomplishments needed for security and comfort, will bear result. So the next stage, he is in the stage of having comfort, having security, and he is fulfilling his desires and accomplishing. So that extends up to 50 years. The third stage, when he goes beyond the individual importance of his identity alone, he feels he has to expand. And that is the stage when he realizes he is not the island, he has to relate to every other person. So the humanism, the understanding that everyone is similar to me, is one with me, starts entering into his inner space. And therefore, he is now ready for dharma. Dharma, if you give a proper translation, it is that energy that holds the entire society together. Dharma is from the root dhr, to bear, and that which bears or holds everything together is dharma. So he has to expand his understanding from his individual self and from the idea of isolated family to the society and the greater universe. Not only the society of living human beings, every other being comes into play in his understanding of humanism. So he dedicates the third stage of his life, for that understanding of dharma and practicing of that dharma. And by the practice of that dharma for almost 2 decades, he becomes so ripe and mature that he is ready for the final liberation, that is moksha, and that is the last stage of sannyasa. Because in modern times, the fault has happened that everyone has centered their desire only on artha, that is gaining of energy put for accomplishing of security and comfort, and then they have been fulfilling their desires and aspirations. Beyond that, not mind you, the most of the population has not stepped beyond that to an understanding that they have to expand. That is why there is so much chaos, confusion, fight, factionalism in society. If people have followed the advice of the Vedic seers, the foresight of the Vedic seers, there would be no fight in families, no fight among people of different generations. It is because of the lack of understanding we have so much of problem. So it is high time we brought back the same Vedic understanding to each and every one of us, so that we know where we are heading. We know we have to earn our liberation through our own self-effort. And this is one of the beautiful ways in which it can be accomplished. So Vanaprastha is actually a transition period for us to understand and expand ourselves to include every being within ourselves, and thereby we become eligible for the final ultimate experience. It is because people have failed to go through this gradual process that we have people who step into sannyas when they are very young, because they need to balance the society and bring an awakening into every individual. That is why God has provided with enlightened beings to guide us. And let us now think of it very deeply and apply it in our lives. Nityananda.